Think of an enterprise agent like a brand new employee at a bustling BPO front desk. To actually do their job, they need a computer to take actions, a handbook to answer questions, and a manager to handle the really tough escalations. In Microsoft Copilot Studio, we design these exact same capabilities using 3 distinct integration strategies, and that's exactly what we're breaking down today so you can ace your AB 620 exam.
Section 1. The core trifecta: tools, knowledge, and agents. Let's dive right into these 3 core integration categories that define exactly how your agent behaves at runtime. So, in the simplest terms, tools are for doing things, knowledge is for answering questions, and agents are for handing off reasoning. Technically speaking, these are the fundamental architectural pathways that Copilot Studio uses to connect to the outside world. Now, for your AB 620 exam, this is absolutely crucial. You must match the integration type directly to its intended purpose. It's not about preference. If a scenario asks you to update an IT ticket, you choose a tool. If it asks to read an IT policy manual, you select a knowledge source. Make sense? All right, let's look a little closer at how we actually take action. Section 2. Taking action with tools. When your agent needs to retrieve a record, update a status, or just kick off a process in an external system, it needs an action integration, and we call that a tool. Think of a pre-built connector as a standard power plug you just buy off the shelf at the hardware store, right? And a custom connector, well, that's an adapter you have to wire and build yourself. Technically, pre-built connectors give you instant access to hundreds of common services. Custom connectors, on the other hand, are low-code wrappers around your organization's own existing REST APIs. Now, here is a key differentiator to watch out for on the exam: reusability. You are going to choose a custom connector when multiple agents in your environment need to access the exact same proprietary API. That shared need is what justifies the initial setup overhead. But what if your action requires a bunch of different steps? Well, just like a super strict logistics assembly line, some actions literally cannot happen out of order. Technically, an agent flow chains together connector actions into a multi-step deterministic sequence. It allows for things like human-in-the-loop approvals or parallel branches. For the AB 620, please remember this critical logic. Agent flows are absolutely required when you need explicit error handling paths and completely predictable design time behavior. If your exam scenario mentions a sequence where, say, step 2 entirely depends on step 1 succeeding, you definitely need an agent flow. Okay, moving on to MCP, the Model Context Protocol. Think of MCP like a universal translator hub for your whole enterprise. Instead of configuring every single agent individually, a central platform team manages a server that automatically exposes tools to any connected agent. This includes Microsoft-published servers like WorkIQ, which expose real-time Microsoft 365 signals, stuff like your emails and Teams chats. Now, you'll definitely want to jot down 2 major constraints for the test here. First, generative orchestration must be enabled to use MCP. And second, individual topics cannot call MCP servers directly. Only the orchestrator itself can invoke them. When you're evaluating these patterns, let me just point out a few specific traps you might see. When you get a requirement for a quick, one-off internal integration where building a whole custom connector just isn't justified, go with a REST API tool. But remember, they cannot be shared across the broader Power Platform. Oh, and if a scenario mentions reusing existing pro-code conversational components, that specifically maps to bot framework skills. Those require C# development and sit totally outside the standard Power Platform application lifecycle. All right, let's shift gears from doing things to answering questions. Section 3. Grounding with knowledge sources. If the agent isn't taking an action, but instead needs to provide a really authoritative answer, this is where we focus. The difference between knowledge sources is kind of like consulting a live HR portal versus reading a printed physical handbook. Copilot Studio grounds its AI using either indexed static data, like a SharePoint document, or real-time queries. When you're evaluating scenarios later, know that Power Platform connectors provide real-time data that's queried directly at runtime. If an exam question explicitly states that data absolutely cannot be replicated or moved, and it has to reflect its absolute current state, like live IT system status, a real-time Power Platform connector is the exact answer you're looking for. Let's look a little closer at how to differentiate these on the actual test. You are very likely to see a requirement asking how to integrate non-Microsoft enterprise content. Think external wikis or a third-party project management tool that specifically needs semantic search and cited responses. The correct answer for that exact combination is Copilot connectors, which index that external data directly into Microsoft Graph. Now, on the flip side, if the organization already manages its own custom vector indexes, well, then you'd select Azure AI Search. Section 4, delegating tasks to agents. Because, sometimes the best tool isn't a database or an API at all. It's actually another specialist. Think of agent delegation like a front desk bank teller who passes a highly complex fraud issue over to a specialized bank manager. Technically speaking, your main Copilot Studio agent can route domain-specific tasks to other published agents, and that includes Foundry or Fabric data agents. The core exam logic here revolves around architectural independence. You choose delegation when you need to keep really sensitive compliance rules or complex domain logic completely separate from your main service desk flow. This way, different teams can update their own respective agents without breaking the entire system. Section 5, authentication and data governance. Because building the integration architecture is really only half the battle. Securing and governing it is exactly where candidates tend to trip up the most. Think of user-provided credentials as swiping your own personal ID badge to get into a system, right? While maker-provided credentials act way more like using the building's master key. Technically, user-provided credentials ensure the agent only surfaces data that the specific individual is actually permitted to see. Maker-provided credentials are used when individual logins just don't exist, like a shared IT service account. Crucially, for the AB 620 exam, listen to this. Maker-provided credentials cannot be deployed on anonymous channels, period. They absolutely require an authenticated channel to function. When you are configuring authentication, pay incredibly close attention to MCP servers. They support 3 progressively manual OAuth 2.0 flows. First, dynamic discovery is the simplest. The client just automatically discovers the endpoints. Then, dynamic requires you to supply authorization endpoints manually, but it still handles the client registration for you. Finally, manual requires explicit configuration of the client ID, secret, and scopes. You'll really need to know which flow offers the specific level of configuration control that an exam scenario is demanding. Data loss prevention, or DLP, acts like a super strict corporate firewall for your connectors. Connectors are classified into business, non-business, or blocked groups. Now here is a critical testing point about mixing data. Connectors classified as business and non-business can both be used safely within the same environment, but they absolutely, positively cannot be combined within the same agent. So if an exam scenario asks why a maker is getting a sudden error when adding a brand new connector to a previously working agent, a DLP grouping conflict is almost definitely your culprit. Section 6, selecting the right pattern. Let's bring all these logic blocks together into the actual decision framework you're going to use on the test. This one single question dictates your entire starting path. Doing points you immediately to tools. Answering points you straight to knowledge sources. And handing off points you directly to agents. Once you lock in that category, you just narrow it down based on the specific system constraints. Mapping these choices out against the fictional Woodgrove bank scenario they use in the Microsoft Learn material gives you a really exact blueprint for your exam questions. Notice the precision here. Live, unreplicated data, that dictates a real-time connector. A requirement for an action in an existing system with a ready-made solution, that points to a pre-built connector. But if that action involves a multi-step dependency path, like creating a ticket, then notifying a user, then assigning a queue, that strictly maps to an agent flow. Always validate that your chosen connectors are permitted by your environment's DLP policies before you even begin building. Discovering a blocked connector late in the game creates massive rework. So as you gear up for the AB 620, I want you to ask yourself this. If your ideal custom connector was suddenly classified as blocked by an administrator tomorrow, how would you redesign your Copilot Studio architecture using only REST API tools or MCP servers to achieve the exact same result?